How's everybody doing? My name's Mike, and we have Miss Boots with us. Miss Boots is an American Cocker Spaniel. She's about 1 year old, and we're going to be working with her in basic obedience, behavior modification. You know, the owners let her on furniture and things like that, so she has the typical behavior issues, you know, jumping, some barking. She also excited pees, so like for instance, when I went to put a leash on her, she peed a little bit, so we're going to be working on that with her. And right now we're doing the thing we always do. We're introducing the dog to pressure on the collar and what that means, and getting the dog to understand that we want them to start following the leash. So the goal for this session right here is to get the dog to start leaving the leash loose. They have a significant pulling problem. For small dogs, they pull pretty good. We're also out when it's thundering right now, so that's another distraction for the dog. For her, it's not too bad. The other one, a little more so. So we're going to go ahead and get started before we run out of time. Come here, girl. Good girl. So I'm just encouraging her to come towards me. She goes that way, I go this way. Good girl. Good girl. So if she goes this way, I go this way. And I encourage her. Good girl by calling. So again, they pull. Good girl. See how she turned? Good girl. How she turned before? Just like that. Good girl. So I'm praising her every time she turns towards me. Good girl. See how she did it before the leash became tight. Good girl. Good girl. Atta girl. Good girl. Come here, girl. So when she's going that way, she's going towards the camera, girl. That's why she's going that way. Good girl. Come here, girl. Atta girl. Good job. Good girl. Good girl. You can see she just submissive peed right here as we're doing the exercise. So we're going to move over here a little bit. So that tells me when I touch her, it's too... Come here, girl. Good girl. It's too much for her to handle the affection. She gets so excited. Good girl. See how she turned before? Come here, girl. Atta girl. Atta girl. We need her to know. Good girl. We need her to know what pressure is. Come here, girl. Atta girl. Good girl. Come here, girl. See, she turns every time this way. Come here, girl. She's very excited. Come here, girl. Atta girl. Good girl. Good. Good girl. We want it loose, just like this. Come here, girl. So she feels the pressure and she turns around. That's what we want. She feels pressure. Come here, girl. Good girl. Good girl. And she turns around. So pressure, turns around. Good girl. She's understanding. She's learning already for us. Come here, girl. Good girl. So I'm not going to reach down and touch her because she's going to pee again. Come here, girl. So it's going to take time before I can introduce me touching her. Atta girl, good girl. But as you can see, she's very happy when I just, come here, girl. When I just give her verbal affection. Good girl. Good girl. Come here, girl. Come here, girl. So it's something on the road she's going after. That's a distraction. Come here, girl. Good girl. So we'll go ahead and do this with her a few times so she starts understanding. Atta girl. That's what we want. She's turning before. Come here, girl. Atta girl. She's turning before she feels leash pressure, and she's keeping this loose already walking with me. Come here, girl. So she's keeping this a lot looser than normal, and she had a pretty significant pulling problem. Come here, girl. Atta girl. That's a good girl. Hey, girl. Good girl. So that's it. We just want a short amount of success with her on that, and again, the whole idea is for her to start learning to follow me and start keeping this leash loose, because it's not good for them. They were using a variation of a prong collar in their home, and the dog was pulling significantly on it. So if they pulled the same way they're pulling on the flat collar, it's very unhealthy for the dog. So we want to teach the dog this is meant to be loose the entire time until they do something they're not supposed to do, and then there's a short moment of tension. That prong collar should not be engaged when you're training the dog. It should only be engaged if I want them to come this way. Atta girl. If I want her to start following me. So already in their home, they are following the dog when they walk the dog. Now already the dog is learning to start following me, start coming towards me, start paying attention to me. Atta girl. And that gives her a job. Now her job is to start looking at me and start paying attention to what I'm doing. So she's off to a great start. Again, I'm going to hold back my affection, my physical affection with her, and I'm just going to give her verbal praise because she seems to be so excited that she cannot handle the physical touch yet. And she tells you that by the submissive P. She tells you she's too excited to be touched at this moment from the submissive P. So we also want to build that muscle that helps hold her urine in. So we have ways of doing that through potty training. That's also going to help her with the submissive peeing. That muscle gets developed, she's going to be able to hold it a lot more.